Scientists spent over a decade studying the Kepler-22b planet and finally reached a terrifying conclusion. This planet may be a trap. When NASA announced its discovery in 2011, many considered it a candidate for a second Earth because it seemed too perfect. It is about 600 light-years away from us, orbits a star similar to our Sun, and has an orbital period of about 290 days. Its radius is about 2.4 times that of Earth, and it falls right in the habitable zone, meaning that liquid water could exist there if conditions were right. But the real problem is, I saw its shadow, but I don't know if it's a rocky planet or a mini Neptune in a gentle coat. Hello everyone, I'm Xiaoxing. Today, we won't call Kepler-22b an alien paradise or a cosmic hell. We'll just ask one question. If a planet seems close to the answer in every way, but every key detail is uncertain, is it giving humanity hope or reminding us that we are too naive? In 2009, the Kepler Space Telescope was sent into space. Its mission was very simple. Observe when they dim, because when a planet passes in front of a star, it blocks a tiny bit of starlight, causing the star's brightness to decrease very slightly. This is as difficult as standing at one end of a stadium and watching for a speck of dust drifting past a spotlight on the other side. Kepler discovered Kepler-22b using this method. It appears approximately every 290 days, like a silent beat in the depths of the universe. Initially, people were excited because its location was so unique. It is not as close to the star as Mercury, nor as far from the light and heat as the icy outer planets. It occupies a location that evokes much speculation. The phrase habitable is often misleading. It doesn't necessarily mean it's suitable for human habitation. It only suggests that, under certain assumptions, the planet's surface might possess conditions for liquid water. Note the emphasis on possibly, because the fate of a planet is never solely determined by distance, but also by atmospheric thickness, surface pressure composition, magnetic field, internal activity, and whether it actually has a surface at all. Kepler-22b's trouble lies within this 2.4 times Earth's radius. This doesn't mean it's a giant version of Earth. In astronomy, there's an awkward category of planets, between Earth and Neptune in size. They might have a rocky core, a thick atmosphere, or even a deep water crust. Just looking at their radius makes it impossible to determine their true nature. You only see an outline. Like seeing a city through a thick fog, you know it exists. But you don't know if there's a road behind the gates. The first possibility is that it's a super-Earth, a rocky world larger than Earth. If that's the case, the presence of continents and clouds sounds very close to the scene that humanity most desires. But the problem is that the larger the volume, the stronger the gravity, and the easier it is for the atmosphere to be trapped. Once the atmosphere is gone, the greenhouse effect may push the surface to extremes. If the atmospheric composition is not right, the so-called mild temperature is just a number on paper. You think it is a magnified version of Earth, but in reality it may be a greenhouse world sealed by a thick atmosphere. The second possibility is that it is an ocean planet. The entire planet is covered by deep sea, with no continents, no forests, and no mountains. The sea stretching to the horizon is a beautiful sight, isn't it? But beauty doesn't equal suitability for life. Beneath the deep sea might lie high-pressure ice layers, no land differentiation, no shallow sea environment, and no stable chemical exchange. Life might emerge, but achieving complexity would be far more difficult than we imagine. It looks like a beacon of hope, but it might actually just be a quietly functioning water sphere. A third possibility is that it's not related to Earth, but a mini Neptune, meaning it has a rocky or icy core surrounded by a thick, hydrogen-rich atmosphere. Its location is in the habitable zone, and the temperature doesn't seem extreme, but you simply can't stand on it. There's probably no solid ground there, only an atmosphere that gets deeper, hotter, and more pressure. The so-called surface might just be a term imagined by humans. It's not a water world, but a seemingly mild gaseous envelope with no foothold. So the truly strange thing about Kepler-22b's isn't that it's necessarily dangerous, but that it can't be easily categorized. Leaving just enough space for imagination while hiding the most crucial evidence. We know where it is. We know its orbital period. We know its radius. But we don't know its mass, its density, its atmosphere, or whether it has oceans and land. It's a blurry mirror that it presents to the universe. We think we're looking at a distant planet, but we're also looking at humanity's obsession with a second home. It's precisely because of this uncertainty that some people use it for a thought experiment. If there are civilizations in the universe far more advanced than humanity, would they deliberately arrange planets that look just right? It's not that Kepler-22b was actually built, nor that scientists discovered a trap, but rather that the hypothesis itself is intriguing enough. When a young civilization first possesses a telescope, first identifies a settlement zone, and first begins searching for a second home, what is it most likely to be attracted to? Not a clearly desolate world, but a world that looks almost habitable. It's like a lamp in the dark. It doesn't need to call you over. Just leave it there and you'll naturally look at it. Kepler-22b is the same. It doesn't answer, doesn't explain, and doesn't approach. The movement of stars prompts humanity to repeatedly point telescopes at them. Perhaps it's just an ordinary planet. Perhaps it's completely devoid of life. But it reminds us that just because something like Earth exists in the universe doesn't mean it belongs to humanity. We are too quick to project our hopes onto distant places. Seeing a suitable temperature, we imagine oceans. Seeing a habitable zone, we imagine life. Seeing something slightly familiar, we assume that place also welcomes us. Even more subtly, Kepler-22b makes us look at Earth from the opposite perspective. Earth also has many things that are just right in terms of distance from the sun, just right in terms of water not completely evaporating, nor completely freezing. The Earth's axial magnetic field just happened to stabilize. The solar wind and plate tectonics just happened to block. And the carbon cycle just happened to continue for billions of years. We call these things luck. But when we look for another stroke of luck, we find that behind every coincidence lies a long and complex set of conditions. So the most noteworthy thing about Kepler-22b is not that it is necessarily a trap, but that it made humanity realize for the first time that in the universe, the unknown is often more powerful than the answer. It may be a desolate world, or it may be a deep-sea planet. It might be a mini Neptune, or it might just be a misinterpretation. Hopefully, it's still quietly orbiting over 600 light-years away, offering no promises. Yet, it has already raised a question. When humanity finally finds a planet that looks like home, are we looking at another Earth or a reflection of Earth?